Okay, right now, the interlude is sort of thematic.
Yeah, you'll hear the bass change.
Yeah.
So you know.
Good morning and welcome, bienvenido. My name is Lori Douglas. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am your worship associate today for the service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Charlotte County. I have short white and gray hair, a multicolored top, dull brass earrings because I couldn't find anything else to match the top, and what else? And 2 bracelets. Here we go. Okay. Now, hopefully you've had a chance this month to read the edition of the UUFCC newsletter communique. If not, it can be found in our updates and on our website. There, Laura A. discussed our new approach to introductions as modeled by the UUA General Assembly this year. Today, I used a personal description in order to be more accommodating to people with visual impairments by describing myself. And you'll find these continued descriptions as worship associates move along each week. We begin our service by seeing an invitation to gather together, even as we are scattered in many different places, and whether our sacred space be virtual or live. This service is being broadcast live on YouTube and will be available as a recording on the UUFCC YouTube site after the service. Your patience will be appreciated as it takes a little bit of time to shut this YouTube connection down. I'd like to remind you a couple of simple procedures that will help our service and broadcast run smoothly. This would be a good time to put your phones on meditation mode. Find those phones, yes. For those of you who are with us virtually, you may wish to have a chalice at home or a candle available for when it is time. For those in the sanctuary, we ask that you socially distance as appropriate and use masks when socializing outside and when requested. Let us be reminded that we are sometimes complacent with our protection, yet we continue to have many who are still becoming infected with COVID, and as people return from up north, we'll move into flu season, and it's all just great fun. So I wish to express my gratitude today for those who make this service possible. Those supporting technology this morning, Corey and Tom in the back, to the building and grounds team and the sanctuary decorating team, Laura, who's up front, and Sue, and all others who make this physical space a joy to behold. To our membership committee and their team of greeters. We also thank Jim today for his special walk-on appearance. Yay! Welcome back, Jim. And Janet, who's not feeling well today, and the UUFCC summer singers. To Mary Jane and Sandy for their behind-the-scenes assistance. Whatever your faith or country of your heritage, you are welcome here. Whoever you are and whoever you love, you're welcome here. And whether you entered on little feet or walked in briskly or ambled or rolled in, you are welcome here. Whether you're relatively new to our community or you've been here for decades, you're welcome here. We are glad that you chose our congregation as your place of worship today. If you're new here or returning from a long time away, please stand in body or spirit, or wave and state your first names and where you're from so that we can welcome you. Anybody returning? Okay. If you've not already, we have someone. Okay. Hi, sure. Didn't see you. Welcome back. Joanne and Dick, yay. Anybody else? And Jim, of course, yes. All right. If you're new at home and would like to learn more about UUFCC, you can email Mary Jane at office@uufcc.com or visit our website at the same address, .org. Thank you, .org, yes. And wherever you are, we're glad you've chosen to spend your time with us this morning. Our theme of the month is belonging, and our presentation today will be by Joesph Fenty, who's hiding behind the curtain. Yeah. We now move to our chalice lighting, and our words today come from Katie Gelfand. She's the director of Katie Gelfand. She's the director of religious exploration in the congregation that raised her, the First Unitarian Universalist Church of New Orleans. Concurrent to this ministry, she is also a spiritual guide, Reiki master teacher, and ritualist. This is entitled Abundance of Our Lives Together. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer a crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our very spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. Now, while our most recent member, Linda, comes up to light our chalice here in the sanctuary, please join me in reciting our affirmation. Shortly, there will be a time to light your chalices at home. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. I invite you now to light your home chalices or candles. And the choir will come up and share with us. Here we have gathered in the gray hymnal number 360.
We
opening words today will be by Joesph.
Good morning. Good morning. Such a pleasure to see you all. The opening words today are from Star Hawk. Okay. Can you hear me better? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, the opening words are from Star Hawk. It's called On Belonging. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throat. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing, a circle of friends. Somewhere where we can be free.
Thank you, Joesph. We have a long tradition at UUFCC of sharing our joys, sorrows, and life milestones by entering them into the Book of Life. These messages can be written in the red book at the back of the sanctuary. Could one of the greeters please bring up the red book? Those at home are welcome to mail your entries to the Book of Life at uufcc.org. Messages should be sent no later than Saturday prior to the service. Thank you, Lynn. All entries will be read by the worship associate on Sunday morning, and after that, emailed entries will be actually put into the actual red book. After I've completed reading, we will enter into a moment of silence, followed by our hymn, Be Thou With Us. Okay. Let's see. All right, today, next Sunday, the 25th, will be our last opportunity to bid farewell to Peg Stunkard, who is moving to Virginia to be with her daughter. Please join us if you can. Cards will be most welcome. Also, please keep Roxanne in your thoughts. She is having a cardiac cath tomorrow. In addition, Lisa Roberts says she'll be out for a while because her husband Alan is having his knee replaced on Monday. Please keep us in your thoughts. And thoughts and prayers for immigrants seeking asylum, that they be treated with the care and respect that any of us would hope for when desperately seeking help. Okay. We now move to our Be Thou With Us. We hold those thoughts in our unspoken joys and sorrows in our hearts. May we also hold one another in love and tenderness, so that this fellowship may be a source of strength and comfort, courage and hope in the days and weeks ahead. We will still have our moment of silence, followed by the ringing of the bowl. Now, please welcome Joesph F. as he's sharing his thoughts on belonging.
Okay, I'm going to adjust the mic a little bit. There we go. Whoops. Going to leave it the way it is. My name's Joesph Fenty. Sorry, I said my last name. Only because we don't do that. Anyway, I am just to introduce myself, I'm a secular humanist, and which is to say that I believe in human flourishing and the capacity of humans to make the world a better place. So that is my perspective. Thank you, Q, and the rest of you. Okay, so my talk is going to focus on the benefits of belonging, how we have an innate need to belong, what we can do individually and institutionally or as a congregation to foster belonging. And I will present you with some ideas that I hope will provoke discussion, and we can continue to have dialogue. So I'm going to paint a scenario for you, and join me on this visual journey. So imagine in the future that a team of Google physicists create a computer that can provide a window through time. As the lead anthropologist, you are tasked for determining how humans became the apex species on planet Earth. Yes.
Yeah, how did that happen?
How did it happen? That's what I often ask myself. Okay, the physicists give, so as a lead anthropologist, you are tasked for determining how humans came to be the apex species on planet Earth. The physicists give you and your team a week to conduct your research. You set the coordinates and time parameters on the computer to examine the dawn of time for Homo sapiens. On the computer screen, you see a picture of the Earth spinning backwards, slowly at first and then picking up speed. The globe is a blur as it rotates backwards in time. As the time indicator on the screen gets closer to the 200,000 year mark, the globe slows down, and the telescope view is of the southern wetlands of Africa, which would be Botswana today. At the ground level, the flora and fauna emerge. On the landscape, there are eagles, hyenas, crocodiles, lions, cheetahs, tigers, and the treacherous leopards. Our distant cousins are also present in the form of gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, bonobos, and other humanoids. A large herd of wildebeests, zebras, buffaloes, elephants, and hippos graze on the lush vegetation. After searching for days, you finally locate a small group of Homo sapiens. The Homo sapiens are the same shape as they are today, but they're mostly naked. They get their food from hunting small game and gathering vegetables, nuts, and tubers. They can make fire and primitive tools and weapons, but they're young, old, and injured or preyed upon by other animals. Many of the young die before they can walk. Nevertheless, the average lifespan is about 25 years of age. The Homo sapiens gather in groups of about 100 individuals, and they have a total population of about 10,000 individuals. When they are not hunting and gathering food, they gather around the fire pit to trade stories about gods, grievances, gossip, and hunting. The humans lack claws, fearsome teeth, crushing jaws, speed, keen noses, mature and physically capable offspring, and superior night vision. Compared to other animals, they are weak and vulnerable. The human impact on the environment is insignificant as compared to elephants and hippos, who can push down trees and make paths through the woods and significantly shape the vegetation. But you observe that humans are good at sharing stories and food, forming groups, using general intelligence to solve challenging problems, using language to communicate, migrating to favorable areas, and making predictions. Humans demonstrate that they can adapt to different environments and conditions and are soon moving into other areas on the planet. By adjusting the search tools, you discover Homo sapien populations are growing and gathering in ever larger numbers. They are moving into new areas such as Asia about 80,000 years ago, Europe about 40,000 years ago, and the Americas about 30,000 years ago. You discover that while there are many factors that explain the ability of humans to populate the world and become the apex species, none is more important than their ability to join in incredibly large groups and share fictional stories. You finish your research and thank the Google physicists for their use of their time visualization machine. According to Yuval Harari, Israeli public intellectual, historian, and professor in the history department at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, the real difference between humans and all other animals is not at the individual level. At the individual level, we are very weak and insignificant, but the difference is on the collective level. Harari posits, quote, humans control the planet because they are the only animals that can cooperate both flexibly and in large numbers. Humans not only imagine things individually, next page, please.
But they have to work in a digital world.
Yes, they do. I'm going to change my view. Hold on a moment. The page will turn.
Why I still use paper.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so humans control the planet because they are the only species of animals that can cooperate both flexibly and in large numbers. Humans not only imagine things individually, but they are also capable of sharing their fictions. Humans are uniquely able to invent and spread fictional stories. This is why we can cooperate in our billions, whereas chimpanzees cannot, and why we have reached the moon and split the atom and deciphered DNA, and they just play with sticks and bananas. Humans bind in groups by emotional attachment. We can describe this as belonging. These emotional attachments can be strong and enduring. Let's learn a little bit about belonging. So at this point, I want you to shout out the organizations and groups you either have belonged to or currently belong to. Family, P-Flag,
AARP.
AA,
AARP.
AARP, Democratic Party.
Boy Scouts.
What's that?
Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts. Very good. Okay,
Guild of Organists.
the organists.
Women's Business Association.
Women's Business Association. Now I want you to shout out how belonging to those groups make you feel. What is the emotion that you feel? Comfort.
Acceptance.
You feel educated. Acceptance. Connection. Competition. Good. Okay. Commonality. Okay. So we feel emotion as we connect to these groups. So belonging is a noun. It's an affinity for a place or situation. The Cambridge Dictionary has this definition: a feeling of being happy or comfortable as part of a particular group and having a good relationship with the other members of the group because they welcome you and accept you. Oxford Dictionary describes belonging as a feeling of being comfortable and happy in a particular situation or with a particular group of people and being treated as a full member of the group. Webster's Dictionary says belonging is a possession, things can belong to you, or a close or intimate relationship. We'll explore this I love words because they can have very different meanings, but somehow they come together, and we'll explore that a little bit later. So Brene Brown, in her book called The Gifts of Imperfection, defines belonging this way. Belonging is the innate human desire to be part of something larger than ourselves. Because this yearning is so primal, we often try to acquire it by fitting in, by seeking approval, which are not only hollow substitutes for belonging, but often barriers to it. Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. End quote. Okay, so in philosophy and systems theory, science and art, emergence, I don't know if you've heard this before, it's sort of a technical term in those communities, occurs when an entity is observed to have properties its parts do not have on their own. Properties or behaviors that emerge only when the parts interact on a wider whole. Belonging is an example of emergence because it emerges out of a constellation of properties such as language, kinship, friendship, emotions, attachment. So what creates a sense of social belonging where we attach to social organizations, professional organizations? So Professor Roy Bauermeister and Mark Leary, foundational pioneers in belonging research and authors of the influential paper, The Need to Belong, Desire for Interpersonal Attachments as a Fundamental Human Motivation, argues that people have an innate emotional drive to form and maintain interpersonal bonds with other people. They describe social belonging as a subjective feeling of inclusion or acceptance into a group of people. They argue that this sense of community or connection in a social group is a basic human need that individuals must satisfy to maintain their identity, physical well-being, and mental health. So why is this important? Well, according to the online article Sense of Belonging Definition, How to Promote Belongingness, it states that a sense of belonging is critical to a person's physical and mental well-being because isolation can be life-threatening and validation is necessary for mental health. Humans have long relied on communication and social cohesion to survive difficult times. While social identity fails to meet a need as fundamental as food or shelter, it's still a predictor of survival in many situations. Okay. So, according to Angela Dyson, who is a psychotherapist in psychiatry and psychology, she says this about belonging. Quote, "Having a sense of belonging is so important, considering the groups and labels we give ourselves and others. We are members of families, sporting teams, hobbyists, spiritual groups, charities, political parties, cities, countries, and nationalities, to name a few. Nearly every aspect of our lives is organized around belonging to something. The sense of belonging is fundamental to the way humankind organizes itself. We cannot separate the importance of a sense of belonging from our physical and mental health. The social ties that accompany a sense of belonging are a protective factor helping manage stress and behavioral issues. When we feel we have support and are not alone, we are more resilient, often coping more effectively with difficult times in our lives. Coping well with hardship decreases the physical and mental effects of these situations. Depression, anxiety, and suicide are common mental health conditions associated with lacking a sense of belonging. These conditions can lead to social behaviors that interfere with a person's ability to connect, creating a cycle of events that further weakens a sense of belonging. So, in the book, The Cultural Animal, it addresses what makes us human, what makes us so special, and it builds on this idea of the need to belong. It's not just that we like to have relationships with others, rather we evolved to be able to form and profit from new kinds of relationships, including those in large groups, including ones that enable us to have mutually beneficial interactions with total strangers, something many of us do every day, but which is almost entirely absent in the animal world. Okay, so what is the relationship between aging and belongingness? This is interesting. People's approach to belonging may be moderated by their stage of life. In general, our connection with other peoples become more stable and less tenuous as we get older, because we gravitate into social lives in which we are most accepted by the people with whom we interact regularly. So a benefit of being older. On top of that, as people get older, they seem to become more disconcerting about when acceptance, or more concerning or disconcerting about acceptance and belonging do and do not matter. So as we get older, we determine the value of belonging. It's easier for us to do so. Adults come to realize that what most people think about them doesn't really matter all that much. They are certainly still very troubled by important rejections, of course, but they get better at ignoring the reactions of people whose acceptance really doesn't matter. So how can you boost or cultivate your sense of belonging if you choose to do so? Here are some suggestions. First, make an effort. The most crucial ingredient to building a sense of belonging is effort. You cannot belong if you do not choose to make the effort to engage with others. Be mindful of others. Think less about yourself while with others and make the other person or group your focus. Making conversation is critical to increasing your sense of belonging. It is important to mutually ask questions, make small talk, self-disclose skillfully, and listen to people's responses. Third, keep an open mind. Try new activities and meet new people. Consider new ways of thinking. Lead by example so others can see how it works. Put in effort to seek activities and groups of people who you share common interests with. Fourth, practice an attitude of acceptance. Recognize that others will have different ways of being, which don't have to change you. Focus on similarities rather than differences. Similarities tend to increase bonding. If you feel that people are not like you, focus on a mutual goal, such as a volunteer opportunity. And lastly, validate action. Celebrate the actions that bring people together. So how do you promote a sense of belonging in institutions? In the modern world, belonging is much more complicated than it was in the past. In the past, social belonging was necessary for survival. If you were not part of a group, your chances of survival were near zero. As an individual or a small group, you could not effectively defend yourself against animal predators or other marauding humans, or acquire enough food to gain sufficient calories to survive. Individuals that could attach to large groups had a better chance of survival. Belonging got embedded into our brains, probably into the amygdala and prefrontal cortex long ago, and still drives our emotions and behaviors today. Modernity in the Western world allows us to pick and choose which organizations to join. It's not so much a matter of immediate survival, but more a matter of pleasure, personal fulfillment, and satisfaction. Under the best circumstances, belonging to an institution is a dynamic and symbiotic relationship that benefits both parties. When we enter a relationship with an institution, we give up some of our independence, individuality, and freedom in exchange for enhanced self-esteem, connectedness, collective action, crowd-induced euphoria, and identity. Often, institutions require members to conform to norms, customs, and rituals. And in these areas, individuals give up their freedom to act independently. In addition, institutions require time and resources. So members are often required to devote time and money to sustain the institution's programs and services. Reverend Julie Stoneberg, commenting on Toko Pa Turner's book, Belonging, Remembering Ourselves Home, said this. Toko Pa Turner writes, of the many ways we are orphaned by our inalienable belonging. It happens when our gifts are not understood, when the system demands our loyalty but ignores our uniqueness, when wars of intolerance makes us refugees, and when our culture forces us to split off what we are told are unwanted parts of ourselves. And Turner says this leaves us with an absence that creates a longing in us, while at the same time creating shame for our unbelonging. As our isolation and alienization increases, we feel alone in that unbelonging. In my experience in UU congregations, they vary considerably in their ability to embrace a belonging culture. Some congregations do a good job of integrating newcomers, retaining friends and members, and fostering dialogue and innovation. These congregations promote and sustain belonging that promotes connection, mutual respect, personal growth, and development. In what ways can we create a congregation worthy of belonging? Here are some ways to create a culture that embraces belonging as a core concept. Encourage open dialogue without judgment. Provide opportunities for people to share their thoughts and feelings without the fear of persecution or retaliation. Establish an open forum and give each member of a group adequate time and attention so that they can focus on their perspective. These sessions can lead to honest interactions and improve esprit de corps. Second, promote social support and special interest groups. People tend to gravitate towards people with similar hobbies and worldviews. Allow individuals to organize common interest groups to increase engagement. Show respect and use inclusive language. Use respectful language that normalizes racial, ethnic, gender, and intellectual diversity. Collect and analyze data. Or congregations must collect accurate data and determine how individuals perceive the strength and quality of belongingness to the culture. Celebrate individual efforts to promote connection, compassion, and social justice causes. When congregations fail to encourage true belonging, they may slip into the objectification of the individuals. Congregations must strive to see the whole person, a unique and vibrant and multi-talented individual, rather than reduce the individual to a role. The institution must become a facilitator of growth and development and social connections. So belonging is a basic human need. Belonging is vital to our humanity. Without it, we may fail to thrive. If our congregation is to survive, we must facilitate a sense of belonging. Belonging creates feelings of connection, wellness, happiness, and shared purpose. If our congregation is to create an environment of belonging, we must prepare ourselves individually and collectively. Let's start, and we have done this in this congregation, by encouraging open dialogue without judgment, promoting social support and special interest groups, showing respect and using inclusive language, collecting and analyzing data, and celebrating individuals and group efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Joesph. That was a lot to mull over here and to practice. That's great. In our tradition, congregations exist because of their generous support of members and friends. This is one of the ways we connect our belonging. It is our privilege and our responsibility to ensure the health and the future of this fellowship. To this end, your offerings support the ministry of this fellowship, whether by pledge or donation, and may be offered online. Several ways you can give. You can drop your donation in the baskets that are being passed around by the greeters. And for those at home, you can mail checks to the office, drop them in our mailbox, or call the office to make other arrangements. Or we can accept them through Venmo on your phone app. Payments can go through this, need to say UUFCC offering. UUFCC, got that? Your generosity is always appreciated. And if you're with us for the first time, don't feel obligated to give. Your presence is our gift. Now, please enjoy the UUFCC Summer Singers with number 402 in the gray hymnal, From You I Receive. Thank you. Now it is time to join the life of the community and talk about our various events and special activities and other ways you can decide you want to belong or don't want to belong or start something else. Please remember to check your weekly UUFCC updates, which includes a calendar and links for connecting via Zoom or in person. Descriptions of all kinds of fun things coming up. Also, make sure that you regularly visit our constantly updated website, which both Laura A. and Laura L. over here spent a lot of time on. Raise your hand, Laura. Bravo for your website work. Yeah. Okay. So here we have some things. This coming Friday is game night. Thanks to our social director, Susie. Wave your hand, Susie. Yay. All right. Let's see, we have a few things going on. There will be a farewell party for Peg Stuckard Sunday, September 25th. And we're asked to write a goodbye memory to be put in a scrapbook, which is going to be developed just for her, or bring a photo to put in the scrapbook. And those will go to Susie, is that right? Okay, great, thank you. I got that, okay. There is an event at Venice UU, Florida's new election law, voter support or voter suppression. That will be 4 p.m. on Sunday, October 2nd. If you want to go out to Venice and see what's happening there, that'd be fun. Not only, for those who are new to UU, not only do we have our own congregation, but we have congregations near and wide, and then the national and international. So it's fun to see other folks and see what they're doing also. Every weekend, there's some live events nearby to support people who believe in our values prior to the November election. If you want to support those that support your values, there's always a way to do that, even by not leaving home. And if you need ideas, see me afterwards or others that you may know of. Here's a new fun idea of how to belong. Adopt a spot. I love this. The grounds committee is needing some assistance and having I think, a fun idea of an individual, a family, a couple of friends, a couple of people in your row together can decide to adopt a spot outside on our grounds to take care of. So if you're interested in this, I assume we see Dennis, or contact Dennis, and he's probably going to do a map, I would think, of the whole place to figure out where all these spots are and where the empty ones are and what comes together. So that'll be fun. Also, the Immokalee workers need sewing machines. If you have one you're not using or hasn't made it to the garage sale yet, please contact Betty because she's collecting sewing machines to send to them or to drop off to them. If you wish to be in a group to learn more about UU or UUFCC and you're thinking about becoming a member, please contact Jackie W. There you are in the front. And also, if you want to be a greeter, we could use a few more greeters and expand our numbers a little bit there and see her also for that. Let's see, what else is going on here? Okay, I think that's the end of our announcements. And now we would like to enjoy a song from the Gray Hymnal called We Would Be One with the UUFCC Summer Singers and Jim. Our closing words will be by Joesph.
Okay, these closing words are by the poet David White. Your great mistake is to act the drama as if you were alone. To feel abandoned is to deny the intimacy of your surroundings. Surely even you at times have felt the grand array. The swelling presence, the chorus, crowding out your solo voice. You must note the way the soap dish enables you, or the window latch grants you freedom. The stairs are your mentor of things to come. Put down the weight of your aloneness and ease into the conversation. The kettle is singing, even as it pours you a drink. Everything is waiting for you.
Now we will extinguish this chalice, but not the light of hope, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of our community. As you leave Those who need a smooth surface to exit the building, feel free to exit out the double doors in the back. And please enjoy the patio time for our social time. Coffee will be available by weekly volunteers. Who's got coffee today? Cheryl, thank you, Cheryl, yay. You can sign up on the bulletin board in the social hall back there to help out. We'll now end with our Go Lift It Up from our teal hymnal, number 1057. Thank you. And time to wake up your phones. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, that was great. That was really good. I appreciate it. Is there any chance, Joesph, you could send us a copy of your copy? Oh, good. We want to quote some of it in a thing we're doing for the, we're getting a Natural Awakenings article, and we want to use it a little bit.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.